Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hashtag Truth. Tonight, I will be talking to the APW North American Champion, Big Tatt. But before we do, I've got a few things I want to get off my chest. And man, let me tell you, if you don't know about these guys right here, Super Jaw Productions, you need to know these guys right here did an intro for me, and they will do all kinds of wrestling things for you. Super Jaw. Find them on Facebook and let them do things to better your wrestling career. Also, Carolina Foothill Crafts and Collectibles out on the 74 bypass. We have something for everyone. So let's get right to All right, here we are at Hashtag Truth. Again, before we start with Big Tat, I want to thank the guys, Joseph Edwards and everybody at Super Jaw Productions, for that awesome intro they made me. It's going to be on during every show I do. Thank you guys. Hit them up if you they'll make your promos look good. They do all wrestling related videos. And things like that. Hit them guys up. I appreciate them for helping me on my show. Mr. APW North American Heavyweight Champion, Big Tat, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
I am doing great. I'm going to switch over to the comments. Big Bo Jackson says Larson rules. Thank you very much, Bo. Thank you for showing up. Joseph Edwards, much love, man. I appreciate that intro. That's the man right there that can make it happen. He is also the co-owner of Ace Wrestling, Music, and Gaming. Did I say that right, Joseph? I might have put the words in the wrong order, but that's pretty much the whole intro, man. All right, Big Tat, how'd you get into wrestling, man? Tell us your story.
All right, man. So I grew up watching one of my cousins who was real big into pro wrestling. He was wrestling with some boys back in the day. I can't remember the name of the promotion right offhand. I was a little kid at the time, but
was it
his
in the South?
Nah, yeah, it was down here in Rockingham actually.
Okay.
Doing shows at the Armory. And, so me being a little kid, being real big into wrestling the way I was, when I knew he had a show, I'd do everything I could to be there to watch him. Because he was just a real big inspiration to me because he was just like the guys I admired on TV. So, I grew up watching him, and there was one day after I turned probably, I want to say 18, he told me about a guy in South Carolina named Dino James who started a school. And he's like, look, I know you want to do this. I know something you want to do as a kid. Here's your opportunity. Take it and don't waste it. And I took my opportunity training with Dino a little over 2 years ago. July 4th, 2017, I had my debut match against my cousin that got me into it in Ellerby. So that was, family blood running. And
nice.
My debut match was luckily against him. And we found out who the better cousin was. But that's a story for another time.
There you go. Let me go through this. Nailed it, bro. Thank you, Joseph, again for the intro, man. I love it. I watched it like 20 times before I came on. Man, I am just in awe of that. Thank you very much. Joey Godfrey says, thought it was at 8:30 tonight. Unfortunately, I had Randy Wayne again scheduled for tonight. Work again, told him he can't leave. So, man, I am so glad Big Tat, man, I put a thing out saying, hey, man, who wants to come on the show? And I had like in 20 minutes, I had like 10 wrestlers going, me. But I do a first come, first serve basis, and Big Tat hit me up first. So thank you for being on the show, man. I really do appreciate it.
I'm just glad you could have me, brother.
Hey, no problem. So where have you you say you wrestle at APW right now? Do you wrestle anywhere else, or is APW where you're primarily wrestling right now?
Right now, it's mostly APW. I'm trying to get my foot in the door at other promotions. I wrestled a few shows with Wrestling with Purpose up in Pembroke. I've worked CWE. That was where I started out at with Dino and them. And
Okay.
I'm trying my best to get my foot in the door with Ace. Hint, hint. Uh,
Ace, man, there's a lot of places, man. A lot of places out there. I hope they see this, and I hope you get a lot of bookings from it, man.
I hope
It's
so
really
too,
cool.
man.
Bo said, "Hope your dad gets well, Larson. We will be praying, brother. My dad is just fine, guys. He is back to 100% normal. Big Tatt, if you're wondering why they're saying that, a couple of shows ago, while I was on air, my father had a seizure in the other room, so I had to cut the video short. If you're wondering why they're saying that, Mr. Bo, I appreciate all the kind words everybody had, the prayers for everybody, man. I do appreciate that.
Man, I hate to hear that, brother. I'm glad he's doing all right.
Yeah, he is. Joey Godfrey's got a question for you. How do you feel about wiping your feet prior to getting in the ring?
All right. That is a big deal to me because everybody that I've trained with, everybody I've worked with side by side said, you respect the workplace. The ring is our workplace. I do not get in the ring without wiping my feet, whether it's to train, whether it's to set up. I always wipe my feet because I'm not trying to disrespect the place that's giving me an opportunity to work.
There you go, big man. That's what I'm talking about. See, I've had many conversations with me and Big Country was talking about that last night. About people coming in and wiping their feet before they get in. I'm not a wrestler. I've never been a wrestler. I'm a super fan, a mark if you want. Been watching wrestling for over 30 years, man. I love the sport, as you can see.
Yes,
And
sir.
man, we were just talking, and we were just talking about just at the I frequent EWF over in Forest City, North Carolina.
Okay.
They're my family, and just here recently, man, Coco Beware has stepped into that ring at EWF.
Okay.
The Rock and Roll Express I told you about when I got in here. They stepped into that ring. We were talking about all these big wrestlers, man. The Barbarian has been in EWF ring many times. Think about that. These wrestlers got to think about that every time they walk up to the up to the ring, man. These are big name, big guys. And
Yeah.
if you step in the ring without wiping your feet, man, you're disrespecting Hall of Famers. Not only your peers, the people that are around you wrestling, but the Hall of Famers, man. And I'm glad you said that because that really makes me feel good to hear young wrestlers say that.
Okay.
Joey Godfrey says, cut a promo to companies that you might want to work for. He's putting you on the spot. You want to cut a short promo, brother?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut a promo on Ace with them guys because I've been trying to get my foot in the door with them.
Okay, I'm gonna give it all to you here. Give me 1 second. It's all on you, brother.
All right, guys, this is Big Tatt live on #Truth. This promo here goes out to the guys at Ace, Joe, Cade, CJ Evans, all you guys. I worked side by side with you guys for a long time. I love every one of you to death. You like brothers to me. But that being said, I've never got to work Cade one-on-one. I've never got to work, a lot of your guys one-on-one. Angels, Grizzly, they're a tag team. They used to be my boys. They still are in APW. Never know what Ace will hold. That being said, Big Tatt will run the show. Give me a chance.
There you go, brother. You heard it, Ace. You heard it, Joseph. Joey Godfrey, there it is. He wants to work for Ace right now, and he put it out there. Well, speaking of Ace, Joseph wants to know what is the most intense match you have had so far, and what made it stand out from the others?
Oh man, my most intense match so far. I want to say probably, I don't know, man. It's a tie. I want to say both shows I'm thinking of right now are gonna, they both took place in the Moore County Fair with APW. One was against Justin Lee. It was a hardcore, no disqualifications match. I ended up getting split. I had to get 8 stitches in my head the same night.
Oh, wow.
I was put through a table that night. Fans went nuts. I couldn't tell you the amount of phone calls, texts, Facebook messages I got wondering if I was okay, if I was going to wrestle again. I really want to say that cut was probably the main thing that stood out from that match. But as far as like most intense, it's got to be me and CJ Evans at the Moore County Fair show because me and CJ have always worked good together. But something about that match in Moore County really stood out to me because it was no matter what I did, no matter how hard I fought, no matter how hard I hit him, I tried everything I could to beat the kid, and I couldn't. I slipped one time. He took advantage, and he pinned me in front of everybody in Moore County. I'm manning up. I'll own it. But I want my rematch. That's what I want for sure.
Oh, you heard it right here on #Truth. He wants a rematch. Joseph said, of course we're watching. He said you made his heart grow 3 sizes today. Joseph wants to know, what's your size?
I'm standing 5'11", 327 pounds.
Oh, big guy, man. Big
Yes,
guys.
sir.
I'm going to ask real quick because I know before one of these guys do, what is your finishing move? What is the move that you use to finish off your opponents?
Well, with my ring name being Big Tatt, I keep it all tattoo related, so I call it the Power Supply. It's a modified version of Kevin Owens' pop-up power bomb, but I sit out with mine. So They go up, we come down, I sit down, 1, 2, 3 every time.
All right. So a modified sit-down power bomb, and you call it the Power Supply.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
you mentioned that, of course, your name is Big Tatt. You said your whole gimmick is around tattoos. Tell me about Big Tatt. Where did that come from? Who gave you the idea? Did you come up with it? Did a promoter or somebody come up with it?
My
How did
old
Big Tatt come along?
my old trainer come up with Big Tatt because when I started training with Dino James and them boys down there, it was originally OSWA when I started with them. I was having trouble trying to figure out who I wanted to be, what I wanted to be. I knew I was a strong guy. I always been a big guy, but I'm covered in tattoos, like from my neck to my feet. Tattoos everywhere. Full sleeves, chest, back, legs. And we were just in training one day, and when I graduated high school, I opened my own tattoo shop. And a bunch of the boys I trained with knew, I'd done tattoos, and I've tattooed on a few of them. So my trainer just out the blue one day, we showed up for training one morning. He was like, "Hey, your gimmick, Big Tatt." I was like, it makes sense. So I took Big Tatt. It took me.
I asked you to send me your promo pic. You sent me the promo pic with Big Tatt, and behind it is the 2 machines crossed. I love that, man. That was cool.
Joseph Edwards and the boys Ace actually designed that for me.
See, it all comes full circle, don't it? That's what I'm talking about. Everybody helping everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some more of these questions, man. Felix Feelgood of 5-Star District wants to know, what's the worst match you've ever had?
Oh, man. I think the worst match I've ever had, it's got to be the 3-way elimination tag team match me and CJ Evans was in.
I think he went out on us, folks. Wait, we might get him back, maybe. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
We got a great promo pic right there, but I think he went out on us.
It's working on my end.
There. You back?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. We had a great promo pic of you for about 15 seconds with your finger in your mouth, but it's all good. All right, answer it again. What was the worst match you ever had?
I want to say the worst match I ever had was probably when me and CJ Evans was a tag team in APW, and we was in a 3-way elimination tag or 4-way elimination tag match against 5-Star, the Adrenaline Junkies, and BD Productions. And the reason I say that's the worst match I've ever had was because I felt like I let CJ down because CJ took probably 15, 20 minutes straight of just a straight beating, but there was nothing I could do to get in there to him to make the tag. And I personally feel that's my fault for not being able to get in there and help him. So that would probably be what I would consider my worst match, only because, him being my partner, I couldn't get in there to help him. And I just had to watch him take, the beating he took.
Wow. Joseph says, bring the power.
Always do, brother. Always do.
Bo Jackson asks, how long have you been wrestling? I may have missed it. And always, what advice would you give a newcomer?
July 4th, actually yesterday, was my 2-year debut in pro wrestling.
Okay.
So I've been in it 2 years yesterday. The best advice I could give you, man, stay in the gym. I always listen to your trainer, and when it comes to working shows, pay your dues, show up, set up, stay, tear the ring down, clean up. You know, it goes a long way with other promotions because if someone else wants to book you and they hear that you just show up, work, and dip, it don't look that good on you unless you got 30 plus years in the business and you've spent 30 plus years paying dues.
Yeah, if you're not getting, close to four figures in wrestling and indie wrestling, I don't
Yeah.
think that's a good idea not to do what you just said. Oh, here we go. Felix said, if you could work someone who's not with us anymore, who would it be?
Easy. Eddie Guerrero all day.
Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, and steal. That's what I'm talking about. So, Big Tat, you're a good guy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just have to ask that for because you were kind of light on the promo. I was like I was waiting for some some bad vibes, and when I didn't get it, I pretty much knew you were a good guy. So
And I don't have to give bad vibes, man. I can cut promos and talk all day long, but I'd rather show what I'm about in the ring.
hey, that's what I'm talking about. Let's get this guy. Let's get this guy some bookings right here on hashtag Truth. What do you say? All
Hey,
right, man. So, of all the wrestlers that are wrestling around you right now, maybe APW or anywhere else, do you see anybody else who looks like, you know, outside of yourself that sky's the limit, man? You know this guy's gonna go somewhere.
uh, yeah, I do, man. It's my good buddy Angel Angels. When I first started in APW, I think he started with us probably a couple shows after me. And it's just the time I watched this kid grow and grow. Well, I ain't gonna say kid, he's older than me, but I've watched him grow in wrestling. I've worked side by side with him. I've worked against him. I mean, the kid, he's got potential, and I'm ready to see what he can do in the future in this business. I'm excited to see where he goes. I'm excited to see who books him. Um, he's got a lot of talent in this business, and I know firsthand because I've left Lumberton working him one time with a black eye, so I know he's got what it takes.
Wow. And I've got Angels coming up for an interview later on. It's coming up pretty soon, so everybody be watching out for that. Bo Jackson says, Big Tat, I'm trying to help another wrestler, Jamie Knight. I want to help him with a trainer. Who would you recommend? We are in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Spartanburg, that's a good ways for me. I don't really know many guys up that way yet. I don't have my South Carolina license, so I haven't been up that way wrestling yet. But the guy that's training me right now, Scotty Dial in Laurinburg, North Carolina. He's real good at what he does. He brings in outside trainers to work with us as well. I've trained with guys like Leo Wolf, Brad Branson, Dirk Douglas, guys like that. I mean, it's a really good spot. And, Joe Edwards will vouch too because he was there for a Caribbean Tiger seminar not too long ago. So I would
Yeah.
recommend
Oh,
Scotty
I'm not
Dial.
a professional wrestler, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, Big Tat. I'm not a professional wrestler, but from all the wrestlers that I heard of and a lot of these promotions, if you just go to a wrestling show and start talking to them, man, a lot of these wrestling shows have their own training, have their own trainers. And if you're willing to make the drive, like he said, from South Carolina to North Carolina or vice versa, or to Georgia, or if you're willing to put in the time and the money and the effort, man, these guys will train you. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
you just got to show up and have a big heart and be ready to go.
yes sir.
Joey Godfrey, what companies do you want to work for? There's a ton of them in the area, man.
Right now, my main focus is going to AML wrestling in
Hey,
Winston-Salem.
wow.
That's my goal right now. That's where I want to go. I want to be on there with all those guys, the Dolphins.
Bunch.
Hey, but yeah, I'd like to go there. Work with the Dawsons, Caleb Conley, guys like that in AML. Senior official James Hunter at AML has actually refed a few of my matches here on the Indies, and I know he's real big in AML too. So the more I get to work with him, the better. Also,
Joseph says, shout outs to Solar City Complex for all their love and support. They take such good care of us.
yes, sir, they do.
Bo Jackson says, "Can y'all explain to me the license process in South Carolina? Is this normal? What's the cost, reasoning, etc.?" I can give a little bit of answer, then I'll let you give. You can probably fill in all the blanks. Bo, in South Carolina, where I live, and probably where you live, they have what's called a commission, and this commission tells you what you can and can't do at wrestling. And they want you to come down. They want to make sure that you don't have any diseases. They give you a physical and make sure that you basically are fit to get in the ring and do what you say you want to do, and that is wrestle. If you can't pass the physical, you don't get a license. The cost, these wrestlers will have to tell you that, but there's probably a fee. Um, and if I think it's every year, it might be longer than that, but I
Hmm.
think it's you get a license for a year and you have to go back and redo it every year if you want to wrestle in the state of South Carolina. Have anything
So
to add?
the cost of the South Carolina license, I believe, is I want to say 50. And I hadn't had a license yet. I got paperwork sitting on my dresser to get mine done for APW, but I want to say it's 50. And you got, like I said, you got to have your doctor fax over your physical to the commission. You send in the $50 with all your paperwork and your application. And if everything's cleared, your physical's cleared, doctor gives the okay to go. They give you your wrestling number, which you can give promoters so they can look you up in the system till your actual card comes in.
There you go. So you can actually wrestle without the physical card because they give you a number, and you can
Yeah.
go and actually give the owners and promoters that card, and they'll look you up.
Right.
Well, at least they give you that much. But from what I've heard and I've seen some talk about this on Facebook, they don't update that all the time. So you have to be careful.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, make sure that you have something in your hand. If you don't have your license yet, my advice would be have something in your hand saying that you went there to get it or something.
Right.
If not, these guys are probably not going to let you wrestle. And I don't blame them because they could shut down their show in a heartbeat if somebody's there wrestling without a license. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it just gets ugly, and then you're going to get sprayed all over social media for being the one that did it to them, and you'll never wrestle again. So you might as well do it right if you're going to do it at all. All right, man. So where are you going to be in the near future, man? Tell us. Do you have any other upcoming wrestling matches or going to any other promotions, or again, are you sticking straight with APW right now?
Well, right now the only bookings I have is with APW, and we have a show tomorrow night at the Richmond County Rescue Squad. Unfortunately, due to a knee injury, I won't be competing, but I will be there.
Okay, good deal, man. Good deal. Um, so who in the wrestling business around you right now do you have? We like talking a lot about you mentioned your trainer, but while you're at an actual wrestling event and like you finish your match and you come out and you go to the locker room, is there anybody there that says, "Hey man, let's sit down and talk about your match," or is it just you get done, you get dressed, and you go home?
Oh no, man! There's always guys in the locker room that's got plenty of years in the business that I try to talk to, and one of them I talk to a lot is Scotty Dow, my trainer, and a fellow named Scrapyard. Oh, Scrapyard's got plenty of years of experience in the business. I've learned a lot about ring psychology from him. So every time I have a match, I go back to the locker room. I'll talk to Scrap. I ask him, hey, did this look right? Did everything go good? Did I need to work on this or that? Stuff like that. Anything I can take from anybody. I mean, it don't even have to be a vet, just somebody that's been in it longer than me that I can get any advice from to be better. I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to do everything I can to up my level to be that much more better for when I get future bookings. I don't let any promoters down who think, I've heard a lot about this guy from so and so. Then I get in there and work, and it's not what they expect, and I don't get brought back.
Yeah, man. That's one thing that I push on my show, and I love for all the wrestlers to push is, man, we're in this together. Let's help each other, man. There's so many egos in professional wrestling that that's the thing that I want to cut out. I want to cut out the egos, and if you guys could, and I say you guys loosely, could cut out, all the egos and not wanting to work with each other and all the petty stuff that comes out of professional wrestling in the locker rooms and all these owners and promoters hating each other. Could you imagine, like I said, you could print your own money if you guys could start working together, man. I mean, it's crazy to me why people that are, 10 miles apart, 20 miles apart, like I said, there's 50 shows within my area alone. Could you imagine if 50 shows got together with all the same wrestlers and ran a bunch of storylines and kept it going and moving around? I mean, I could go to 20 different promotions and spend money every week and keep going to see the same wrestlers that I like or more wrestlers that come in. And I mean, who knows? The sky's the limit at that point, but you got so many egos, man. What do you think about the egos of professional wrestling?
Man, I could go on probably the rest of our 40, 50 minutes talking about egos in pro wrestling because I've had so many run-ins with so many people when it comes to egos, man. And, anybody that's ever been in the locker room with me, that's ever worked with me, will tell you, I'm one of the most humble guys. You know what I mean? Just the fact that I've got an opportunity to do this that I've dreamt of doing since I was a kid is enough for me. I don't have a reason to have an ego. I don't have a reason to be big-headed about what I do because I'm no better than the guy sitting beside me in the locker room.
Right. And another thing I want to ask, because I heard it might not be yours, but I heard a baby in the background. And family's a big thing, man. Does your family support your independent wrestling?
Yeah, my family loves it to death, man. The little baby you heard is my 1-year-old baby brother.
Oh, wow.
And he come to a show I had not too long ago, probably about 2 months ago. I did a show, and I think it was the night I won the North American title. I cut a promo in the ring with an old WWE big gold belt that my daddy had got me when I was a kid. And my daddy was in the crowd. I had a card he had gave me that was really important to me. And I come out here and cut a promo on how, I was thankful for the opportunity that I got. And, the fact that my daddy had gave me this belt when I was a kid meant the world to me. And now I have my very first actual pro wrestling title shot tonight. I'm going to do everything I can to make him proud, only to be interrupted by a guy named Cruz Biddle, who, cut me off with the, just being Cruz Biddle. If you don't know him, Cruz Biddle's for lack of a better word, a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah. So, but later on that night, during my match, I was looking out in the crowd. My daddy was all into it. My stepmama was. She had my little brothers with them. And, they were just standing up in their laps, clapping, jumping. I could tell they're going to be real big in the pro wrestling when they get older. At least I hope so,
Right.
I won the belt that night only to be handcuffed to the ropes and beat down by Cruz Biddle, who stepped on the belt my dad gave me and ripped the card up in front of the crowd we had, which was, it was emotionally rough on me. And, I vowed to get Cruz back for what he's done. I hadn't been able to really get my hands on him yet. We had a match not too long ago. It was a 6-man tag match, no disqualifications. It was Cruz, Side Effect, and Wachi versus me, Angels, and Grizzly, the Icons Unlimited. And we ended up winning, but for some reason, Cruz kept finding ways to escape me that night. I couldn't really get a hold to him, but we'll cross paths again one day. I firmly believe it.
There you go, man. If you want to find out about wrestling for EWF, Eastern Wrestling Federation, Bo Jackson, contact Boomer Payne. Thank you very much, Joey, for letting everybody know that. And that even goes for you, Big Tatt, man. We'd love to see you up in EWF, man.
Yeah.
I recommend Will Demented of High Profile, pretty freaking great worker. Okay.
I've watched Will Demented work in APW a few times. He's a real good worker. I have nothing bad to say about the guy.
Mr. CJ wants to know if you could pick a tag team partner for the Indies, who would it be?
Well, as cliche as it sounds, I'd have to say CJ Evans because I think we work pretty good as a tag team. As far as locally, yeah, I'd probably pick, CJ Evans. If I was to branch out any further, I mean, it's hard to say with all these great guys on the Indies right now. But
who do you look up to in the Indies? I'm going to make it a two-part question because everybody will do that anyway. Who do you look up to in the Indies as far as, man, this is the guy I want to be like? And who do you look up to when, NXT, ROH, WWE?
right now on the Indies, the guy I look up to the most, and I'm fixing to start trying to go to his school, is George South. I've been
That's a
on
big name.
yeah, I've been on a Wrestling with Purpose show in Pembroke with George South and talked to him in the locker room, and he's a great godly man. I respect a lot that he's not scared to promote his religion, because a lot of people are now. Because if you promote your religion, somebody don't agree to it, it's real easy to get in an argument with somebody about it. But Mr. South don't care. And
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'll say it out loud. I love Jesus, and if people
okay.
don't like it, well, they don't have to listen. But that's just the way it is, And I love it that a lot of these promotions, not only do they do the Star Spangled Banner before the promotion wrestles, but they also pray. A lot of good ones pray before the promotions even start. So, and I'm lucky to have been able to do the prayer for EWF at every one of their shows basically for the last year. So I love every time they ask me to do it, I just get goosebumps, and I know the Lord's watching. So it's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with having a religion and believing. And we're not going to get deep into that because, like you said, we'll have, I don't want this to turn into, I don't like to turn it into religion or politics, man. I like to keep it wrestling, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But
Arthur said, I just jumped in. Love #truth. Man, I am going to have you on the show coming up. I cannot wait to hear your stories, man. Thank you very much. Bo Jackson's thanking everybody for giving them the information about the South Carolina license. Wesley Ledford said, are you and Austin on it? He must be talking to me because about Austin Jordan, because I'm a huge Austin Jordan fan, the 3-count champion and EWF heavyweight champion. I'm a big follower. Everybody knows that. I have no idea what he means about on the outs, but there's only one way for #truth to go up, and that is up, Wesley. Let me tell you. Jack the Bassmaster Fisherman, how are you doing, brother? I loved talking to you the other day. We're going to have, I believe it's already up on #truth, my YouTube channel. If you guys have not been on my YouTube channel to subscribe, please go subscribe and check it out. I'm also on Twitter. So go on there and check it out. And all my interviews after a couple of days get taken off of my Facebook page and put on my YouTube page for those of you who are just joining #truth for the first time. But yeah, thank you very much, Jack. And you really need to get back to me about giving away those tickets. We need to do another promo, and we got to give away those tickets. That's another show I want to go to. Jack Morgan said you will learn a lot from him. I don't know about learning a lot from me, but maybe you're talking about Big Tatt here, because he's been teaching me a lot.
I'm all for learning. If I get a chance to work with anybody that can teach me, I'm more than happy to take it.
A Big Country, who came on my show last night when I had a cancellation. Thank you very much, Big Guy, for doing that. He said, Austin who? Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, you know who it is, man. Austin Two Belts, baby. And that's Joey. Joey said the EWF big man. I think he's talking about Big Country. He might be talking about Big Country. You might be talking about Austin Jordan. I don't know. Both of them are big men in my eyes. So, you can't beat either one of them. But you yourself have a title. Do you know of anybody who's coming after that title right now? Who down the line is coming up for that North American APW championship, brother?
Right now, the only guy that's really giving me a hard time about the belt is a little kid named Sammy Love. But I'm not too worried about Sammy Love because, he comes to the ring with makeup on, hearts around his nipples, and that's not what I see as a champion.
Oh, no.
So I'm not really sweating those Sammy Love right now, but there's rumors going around APW right now that Side Effect is trying to come after the title. And, if he wants a shot, all he's got to do is ask. Commissioner okays it, I'll give him a shot. I'm a fighting champion. I stand by my word, and the title needs to be defended, and I will defend it. If Side Effect wants it, he can come get it, but he's not going to get it easy.
Let me ask you a question, man, because you're naming a lot of singles wrestlers. What if you were to go somewhere like EWF and come toe to toe with a bad guy faction like the Unbookables, what would you do then, Big Tat?
I got a crew that rides with me. I
Uh-oh.
don't. I never travel alone. You know, it's never just me. I do a lot of singles wrestling, but there's videos on the APW page that'll show if the numbers game on the bad guy side gets too much for me, it's not a problem for everybody else. You know, Angels and Grizzlies stand by me 100%, just like I stand by them 100%. It wasn't too long ago I got jumped by Wachi and Scrapyard Dog, and Wachi bailed out the ring while Scrap was choking me with a chain. And you know, Angels and Grizzly came, took Scrap out, and we stood tall over everybody else.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Austin Jordan is on borrowed time, Scott. No, he's not on borrowed time. He's on the right time. Until somebody can come and take that belt, it's gonna be a while, Joey. Trust you, me. It's gonna be a while. Jack Morgan says I refed one of Tat's matches down at APW.
That's
Do
what
you
I'm talking
remember that
about.
match?
Man, I've had a lot of refs come and go. If he can remember the match itself, I probably can. I don't right off the top of my head.
Who was he fighting, Jack? Do you remember? I want to hear about this match. Robert Big Country said he ain't better than me. Just saying. I think he was talking about Austin Jordan. I won't choose between you or Austin. I think both of you are fantastic. Um, man, oh man. So if you guys have any questions for Big Tat, come on, let's give it to him. Let's make him talk. I heard he was a talkative guy. He's doing really well right now, man. Come out to APW and watch him defend his North American Championship. Who runs the show out there at APW? Is there a commissioner? Is there somebody that comes out?
Well, right now the commissioner's Cruz Biddle, which leaves me in a sticky situation because you know he tries to screw me every chance he gets, but it don't ever work out in his favor, you know.
So tell everybody where APW, what city's APW out of?
We run at the Richmond County Rescue Squad in Rockingham, North Carolina.
Okay, you're out of Rockingham. Great,
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
He said one of the scariest matches I have refed. Cuz, well, who was he wrestling against? Who was Big Tat wrestling when you refed, Jack? He wants to try to remember the match too. Joey Godfrey said an Unbookable will be the new EWF Heavyweight Champion July 27th. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll be sitting ringside, but I'll believe it when I see it. I doubt it. We're waiting on you, Jack. All eyes are on you. I'm waiting on my screen. No, I'm just kidding. Jack's a good guy. So tell me, man, when you come out, what is it like to come out at APW? You have a belt now. You know, you're a champ. People are looking up to you. Is it different than not having a belt? I mean, how much of a difference does that strap around your waist or over your shoulder, however you wear it, how much of a difference does that belt make in a wrestler's career?
Man, it makes a lot of a difference. You know, before I won the belt, I was just some young buck going out there trying to be a professional wrestler. You know, I was always overlooked. I was always this undercard guy that everybody laughed at, pushed to the side. I was like, man, this kid ain't gonna be nothing. He's not gonna amount to nothing. But I put in the time, started training, and I earned a lot of respect when I won that title. And I mean, it's a whole different ball game now because I'm being held to a higher standard in the company now. The fans look at me as a champion. I got to keep that standard with them because me being a champion, it's my duty to be that guy they look up to now, and I got to hold that persona. So I mean, when I come out, I do my thing in the ring. I got to go out there and work twice as hard to keep that title, keep these guys entertained, and stay somebody that they can look up to and know, hey, when we come to APW, we know Big Tat's going to be the guy. He's going to come out here. He's going to put on a great show. He's not going to lose his belt. I got to be that guy. And it's humbly stressful,
Jack Morgan said Cruz. He thinks that's how it's spelled. Do you remember a match against Cruz?
Cruz Biddle.
Okay.
And me and Cruz Biddle's had a lot of matches together. Are you referring to the match where he tried to jump the top rope that night? You know, fourth wall barriers. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the match,
You,
but
what wall? There's a wall. Wait a minute. First time I've ever heard about this wall.
yeah,
Are you in cahoots with Trump or something? What's up with that? A wall? No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing around with you. Oh, okay, I got you. It's on push. Okay, I got you.
but was it the
Hey
match?
man, let me ask you something. Before you get on it, let him cruise. I think it's like, oh, see, he said CRUZ.
Yes, sir. CRUZE.
Okay, CRUZE. There you go. He said yes. So going back to what I was talking about being champ and representing the company and all that, you said yourself you have tattoos from neck down.
Yes, sir.
Has there ever been any little children walk up to you and their eyes get as big as silver dollars and they're kind of scared to walk up to you because of your look?
Honestly, no, man, and I think it's the way I carry myself. You know, because I'm always, I'm open to everybody. I'm not one to bash nobody. I'm not one to talk bad on nobody. So when I see, little kids at the show, I'm real quick to walk up to them, shake their hand. If they want something signed, I'll sign
So
it.
so if they're not willing to walk straight up to you, you're willing to go and break the ice and go, hey man, I'm good. Hey, how you doing?
Well, I mean, if it comes down to it, yeah. But I think my tattoos draw a lot of attention, mostly with kids, because I've had kids at shows want to color in some of my tattoos, want to draw more
Show off
tattoos
show
on
off your
me.
arms, brother, for the camera. Show off your arms to the camera. Let people see what you got on your arms, man.
Let's see, got that one. That sleeve I've had done since I was probably 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
Sleeve here I got done probably when I was 19. Um,
Wow.
I got my legs,
Have, have
sleeve.
have you done any of your own tattooing? Have you tattooed your own body at all, or have you
Um,
always just given ideas to other tattoo makers?
no, my daddy actually raised me on tattooing. That's how I got into it. Cause my daddy tattooed for 20 something years, so he did probably 90% of my tattoo work.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I've tattooed myself a few times. The top of my thighs, probably from my knees up to my waist, are just my own tattoo work from where I had my tattoo shop, and the shop would be slow. So I think, all right, I'm just gonna sit over here. I'm gonna tattoo myself for a little while.
What tattoo that you have on your body hurt the worst? Because I've only got one tattoo, brother, and it's right here, and it's of my favorite baseball team. It took about 30 minutes for the guy, real easy tattoo, color it in and everything, but he but man, I couldn't imagine having wall to wall tattoos like you got, man. So which one of them brothers hurt the worst? I think we froze up again. Yep. Let's give him a few minutes to get back. There he is. He's coming.
Yeah, my signal dropped, man.
Yeah, you good, brother. It happens. It happens. But at least you're back. That's a good sign.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm
which one
here.
of them tattoos on your body hurt the worst?
All right, I'm gonna show it to you, and you can't laugh at it because it ain't finished, and it probably won't ever get finished. But it's probably gonna be the
Uh-oh.
one sternum right here.
Ooh, wow.
That one had to have been my worst one, man. It hurt so bad, took the breath out of me. I'd probably take 10 chair shots to the head before I'd get that tattoo finished. I'm not even kidding.
Barry James said, Joey Godfrey, what do you know about promos? Do you know who Perry James is, Big Tatt?
I can't say I do, brother.
Perry James is one of the top managers in all of indie pro wrestling, brother. Um, he has managed some of the biggest names in indie pro wrestling, and but he's a bad guy. So watch out. You gotta be on the dark side in order to have Perry James on your side right now, as of right now. But he is a great guy, man.
I'll be sure to keep a lookout for that name in APW.
Oh, there you go, man. Hey, when you get up here, he was working in EWF with some wrestlers there. He's probably working with the same wrestlers in other promotions, but yeah, he's a great manager, man. I'm gonna put these up there, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. Joey Godfrey, how do you feel about learning the basics in promoting before calling yourselves a promoter? And Joey says, stir that pot. So we got some stuff brewing on hashtag truth. But we're here to talk to Big Tatt. Joey, Perry James. Perry, I know you can talk as good as all of us can. Give Big Tatt a few questions that might boggle his mind about indie pro wrestling, brother. I know you can bring it. And thank you guys for all you guys, Jack Morgan, everybody, Felix. I'm going to miss a bunch of names because I'm not going to scroll back up there. But for everybody that's watching the show, that watches this show on a daily basis, I appreciate all the love and joy that you bring to the show, man. Tell all your friends about hashtag truth. Let's get all these wrestlers out there. Get them. I mean, sky is the limit. It sounds like I'm begging, but I'm really not. I just want to get all these guys, promoted well and just, get them out there and get them seen. I mean, this guy's a champion. Who shouldn't know him, right? That's what I'm saying. Joseph Edwards wants to know Orange Cassidy, yes or no? Oh, there you go. Put the strap on, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Orange Cassidy, yes or no?
Orange Cassidy would be a big no for me. I don't like the way he works. I don't like his gimmick. Unless I'm missing something, unless I just don't understand the gimmick. But as far as what I see, I'm not a fan at all.
Love you both. So glad we could all sit down to watch today. Thank you very much, Joseph, man. And thank you again for all the help. Bulldog, yes, the man who fought. And I haven't forgot Ric Flair back in the 70s, man. Thank you for loving hashtag truth. Thank you for being here, Bulldog. I appreciate it. If you have any questions for Big Tatt, ask him, man. He is the APW North American Heavyweight Champion. And so where do you see yourself in 5 years, Big Tatt?
Hopefully in 5 years, I'm at least in Ring of Honor NXT. That's the goal.
Good deal, man. That is great. Which do you prefer more, singles wrestling or tag wrestling, or does it matter?
I mean, it really don't matter. But if I had to pick a preference, it'd be singles wrestling because, I told the story about the time me and CJ tagged together. I understand CJ's a human highlight reel. I'm pretty sure Joseph Edwards still has the promo I cut with CJ backstage with Brandon Markson. Me and CJ got into a pretty heated argument backstage at APW because, he just refused to tag out the match. He wanted to show off in the match and ended up costing us the match. And it got pretty rough between me and him backstage. No hard feelings, CJ. I love you to death. Still looking for that rematch. But, I would just I'd rather do singles wrestling. That way, if something on my end messes up,
it's all about you, right?
If I mess up, it's on me. There can't nobody else be.
Jack Morgan, the Bassmaster, wants to know, would you ever step in the ring with Rage Davidson?
I can answer your question like this. There's not a man on the indies I wouldn't step in the ring with.
Oh, I like that answer, man. I like that answer.
If the promoter will book it and the other man's ready, I'm ready.
Arthur, who I've got booked on the show for later on this month. Y'all watch out for that. Asks I think he meant who is the biggest name you have gotten into the ring with up to this point?
Most of the guys I've worked so far has been mostly just indie guys like me. I hadn't really worked a name yet.
Can't say just, brother. You're wrestling. Hey, I'm not wrestling. I'm not a wrestler. So for you to be a wrestler, don't put yourself down like that and go just indies guys. No, indies guys are awesome, dude. You guys are doing what I can't do. All right, I'm going to correct you really quick there because there's no such thing as just an indies wrestler.
Well, no, I mean, I understand that, but as far as the names aspect goes,
right.
I haven't been in the ring with, any names yet. My promoter at APW's got something in the works. I was told not to speak on it, so I won't. But it involves a name, and if that comes available, then I'm pretty excited for it. But I hadn't really
be sure to put it out there, brother. I would love to. I would love to have you back on the show if you get that name to wrestle you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Trust me, if it happens, I'll make sure it gets known.
Brian of PWX said, good luck getting Orange Cassidy even with his Even with his cell, it's pulling teeth to find an open date. I bet it is, man. I bet it is. How you doing, Brian? Thanks for coming on hashtag True. Thank you to everyone who's here. If you got any questions for Big Tat, comments, anything, throw it up here, man. He is here. He said he'll answer anything. So we're good to go. And man, I am having a great time here tonight. Is Big Tat the only name you've ever used in wrestling, or have you thought of using other names? Have you thought about changing your gimmick at all, or are you going to stay Big Tat from now until eternity?
Unless Vince McMahon decides to change my gimmick, it's going to stay Big Tat. It's what I've stuck with. It's what the fans know me by. It's Big Tat more of a lifestyle in professional wrestling than it is just a gimmick.
So it is basically you. Like a lot of people say, my gimmick is me turned up 100 times. The gimmick Big Tat is really you.
Yeah, it's Big Tat's not just something that I come up with or throw a mask on to be somebody I'm not. It's Big Tat's me. It's a pro wrestling version of me in my everyday life. I'm a big dude. I'm not scared to get down and dirty. I do the weights.
Have you ever went up to the promoter and said, "Hey, I got an idea, man. I'm the APW North American champion. My gimmick is tattoos. Can we make a tattoo parlor match?"
Well, I haven't yet, but that's
I'm putting it out there for you right now, brother. I would love to see something like that.
I would love if somebody could tag my promoter in this, because that would be awesome.
Oh, I will do that. I will do that as soon as this is over. It's already done, brother. CJ wants to know, what's a cool gimmick you have seen on a show or been in a match with, other than your own, of course?
Man, the best gimmick I've seen was on a show not too long ago in APW. These guys, Viva La Amish, come to our show, and it's a trio tag team, and they come to the ring with a live chicken in a wooden box.
A live chicken in a wooden box as part of their gimmick.
Yes.
I am not in any way, shape, or form prejudiced, but I have to ask this question. Were they Mexican wrestlers?
No.
But that was just part of, because I've seen like some Mexican wrestlers, some of the luchadors that,
right.
if their gimmick has to do with animals, and some of them, will bring the live animal out to the ring. So, I don't want people to look at me and go, "Oh my God, what does he have against Mexican wrestlers?" I'm telling you what I saw. I'm not prejudiced at all. But, I've seen luchadors with lions come out with a lion. I just had to ask. It was just, when you said a chicken in a box, I was like, okay. But that sounds really cool.
It was, man. It was.
Go ahead.
It was it was unique. I'll put it that way. They're a Amish tag team. The full Amish beards, the white button ups with the hats, and the butter churners, and it was incredible. I walked in the locker room to get changed, and I seen the chicken standing there. I kind of, I froze. I didn't know what it was for. It was the first time I've had to get dressed in the locker room.
Into the locker room. What should I do?
Yeah.
Joseph Edwards says, "Dude, tattoo parlor match." And then right after that, Arthur says, "I would ref it if I can have a tattoo."
All right, Joe. Joseph Edwards. Ace Pro Wrestling, Big Tat versus whoever in a tattoo parlor match. You can be the first to book it, and we already have a referee. We just need an opponent.
There you go. And Arthur gets a tattoo out of it. There you go, man. All the way. Yes. See how simple it is to book a match on hashtag Truth? That's what I'm talking about.
But
Joseph,
the only stipulation, winner picks the tattoo.
Anybody. Sam Dial flat out is telling you he's better.
Yeah, this is the kid with the hearts that's been drawn on his nipples coming to the ring I was telling you about.
So this is the guy who is going after the North American Championship, huh?
He's got dreams of coming after the North American Championship, but if I remember at the last show, I was in a 2-on-1 handicap match against Wachi and Scrap, and that was the night Wachi and Scrap was choking me with a chain, and Sam was a special guest referee and was trying to screw me. So anytime I put my hands on the ropes, he'd kick my hand off. He wouldn't ever count for me, stuff like that. So when Scrap decided to hit me with a chain,
Sam wouldn't do something like that, man. Come on, come on, man. This is hashtag truth.
I'm so
I'm
Scrap decided to bust me with the chain, and him and Wachi were choking me until Angels and Grizzly decided to come out, and Wachi decided to leave the ring and left Scrap hanging. So Angels popped Scrap, sent Scrap to the outside, and with Sam being the referee, I couldn't put my hands on him, but the match was over, so I snatched the ref shirt off of him, sent him into the ropes, I hit him with a big power supply, and we took it. I went ahead and had to put my hands on him, because you're not going to.
You hit Sam Dial with the power supply?
I did. Almost put him through the camera.
And he's still talking? Oh, you must have missed it by just a little bit.
I think it's just the pride of teenagers now, man. They think they're unbreakable, but it's.
You're gonna love these next few comments when I get to them. Let me get to them. Joseph said, hashtag too sweet. I love the idea. He's gonna run it up the chain.
I'm ready, brother. I'm ready.
Arthur Nelson said he loves it. Jack Morgan says, cut a promo on Sam Dial. I love my watchers on hashtag truth, man. This is awesome. Cut you a promo. I'm going to give you the screen again. Cut you a promo on Sam Dial, who wants to get your North American Championship.
All right. Sammy Love, let me talk to you. I've trained with you back in the day. I've seen you work. And if I remember, you got beat by a Carolina girl not too long ago, but that's a different topic for discussion. If you want a shot at North American title, you can have it. I'm more than happy, to give you a shot at the title. But just please, if you're going to be in the ring with me, leave the makeup off, leave the hearts off your nipples, and leave your little sidekick, Dirk Douglas, in the locker room, because I beat Dirk already. I've already slammed you through the canvas one time. If you want a shot at the title, you can have it. But as far as I remember, there was an age requirement to be a champion, because the brain isn't fully developed until a certain age, and Lord forbid we put a title on a 15-year-old with hearts on his nipples. So keep dreaming, keep pushing, and keep striving, brother, and you'll get here one day.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Big Tatt calling out Sammy, boy, I love it. That is awesome. Awesome promo, brother. Awesome.
Thanks, sir.
Joseph said, I want to hear Sam Dial's side of it. Book him. Well, Sam, get a hold of me. We will put you on hashtag truth. You never know what could happen. We might have the champion pop up while Sam's on the show. So just think about that. But yeah, the invite is out there, Sam. If you want it, you know where to find me. Just tell me what day and what time, and you'll be on hashtag truth. So, wow. I'm telling you, that was awesome, man. We're starting to get wrestlers on here to cut promos with each other, and we got promoters on here.
Your sound cut out, brother. I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me? Uh-oh. Let me see. Can everybody else hear me? Let's see if that is. Let's see if I can do this. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I can barely hear you, man. I don't know what happened.
All right, let me. Oh boy, we're gonna start moving things around. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's very little bit I can hear you. Unless I got my. Hold on. Let me try this. Might be my speaker.
All righty, we can do that. Bulldog said yes. Put them both on together. That would be awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got my headphones in. I hear you crystal clear now.
All right. Yeah, so I don't know. Sometimes when I move things around, I'm still getting to learn this program, everybody. So we'll have a few hiccups until I learn it. But Yeah, I'll make sure from now on that when the wrestlers come on, they have earbuds. Thanks for having them, man. I appreciate you backing
Oh
me up
yeah.
like that. That is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions for Big Tat? We are 1 hour in right now. So if we don't have any questions, we're going to call it a night and try to get Sam on here sometime soon. And maybe, just maybe, stick around, Big Tat, afterwards because I'm going to talk to you for a minute. We might have a good surprise coming up, man. Bulldog said Big Tat is awesome.
I appreciate it, brother.
Jack Morgan, thank you for letting me know you can hear us. I appreciate that. And man, again, I appreciate everybody coming by and watching hashtag Truth. Go to my YouTube page, go to my Twitter page, and subscribe to both of those. Man, you're not going to regret it. I have got a ton of wrestlers wanting to come on here now, and I've got so many wrestlers that when wrestlers are canceling after I advertise them, other wrestlers are just waiting in line, like Big Tat right here. I appreciate you coming on with like less than an hour notice. That was totally awesome of you.
Oh, yeah.
I want to thank Joseph Edwards and all the guys over there at Ace Wrestling, Music, and Gaming for putting it out there that I had an open spot. And of course, Superjaw Productions for doing my intro. If you guys missed the intro, go back. When we get off the air, this will pop up on my Facebook page. Go back and check out the intro. I am super psyched about that. All right, let's go. Arthur wants to know, what's the first wrestling show you have seen? What's the very first show you ever laid eyes on?
Man.
That's a good one.
It is. It's hard to say, man. I was so young at the time. I can remember the matches. I can remember some of the workers, but I can't remember their names. Like I got the faces. I watched a young cat defend the United States title in a casket match at my first one at the Rockingham Armory, but I cannot remember the promotion name. I was probably 6, 7 years old at the time, man.
What was the first wrestling show you saw on TV?
Oh, it was Monday Night Raw.
Do you remember who was wrestling that night? Who caught your eye?
I want to say Triple H back in the old days.
Yes.
During
You're
the
my kind of guy.
Attitude
You're talking about when he was actually Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or right
no,
when he changed
was,
into Triple H?
When he was the Game, during the Rock and Stone Cold era of the Attitude era of WWE.
Attitude era, baby. Yeah, the best era ever in wrestling, the Monday Night War era.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, I could talk for hours about that Monday Night War era.
You ain't the only one.
That was fantastic wrestling back then. Were you one of the people that clicked back and forth, or did you watch one and and somehow try to figure out how to watch the other one?
I clicked back and forth. I'd watch one, watch the other one here
started,
and there.
I believe Monday Nitro started like an hour earlier, didn't it?
Oh, see, the Monday Nitro was that was before my time, because I didn't start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm only 22. I didn't get into watching wrestling until I was probably 6, 7 years old, man. And
okay,
so that was probably early around 2000s. I got into it, so it was.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Right.
Yeah,
when
back in the day though, Monday
Nitro
was on, and then they had Monday Night Raw. I think Nitro came on at 7, and Monday Night Raw has always been at 8:00. And I'm telling you, I went back and forth. It was awesome. That was my era for wrestling, man. Back when D-Generation X was running and NWO was running, and
well, thanks to the WWE Network, I watch a lot of the Monday Night Wars. YouTube has a lot of that old WCW stuff. So I've watched it and I know about it now. I just didn't watch it back when it was on live TV. You know what I mean?
Right. Arthur says, I'm old. I'm NWA. Well, Arthur, you're not that old, because my first shows that I watched was NWA and Continental Championship Wrestling. I was born in Wisconsin and was raised in the South. So, yeah, I love, man, I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, somebody put on Facebook that WWE has put a lot of the old NWA stuff, Mid-South stuff, NWA stuff, up on there, and I started watching it, man. I was watching some matches from back in 82 all the way through 85. Man, I was loving it. I was
My
sitting back,
favorite.
and that was back when that was before the high flying stuff came. And I'm not downing the high flying stuff, but them boys wrestled back in them days, man. I mean, it was really fun to watch. And for me, I was the geek. I'm still the geek. I've always been the geek. I like watching the announcers.
Oh yeah. Oh, Mean Gene Okerlund was my favorite.
Oh man, there was a bunch of them when I had growing up, but it was fun time to watch, man. Everybody who's watching, the people that are watching right now, what was the first wrestling? Oh, excuse me, Mountain Dew burp. What was the first wrestling show you guys watched on TV? What wrestlers do you remember seeing first on TV? I want to hear some of these answers because let's make this a group discussion right here because this is a good question. He said, we'll talk about all that when I'm on too. We sure will, man. I want to hear all kinds of stories. What is the wildest thing, Big Tat, that you have ever seen at a wrestling show? What is most off the wall? Never thought you'd ever see that at a wrestling show. You've been wrestling for 2 years, so you've seen quite a few matches. What is the wildest thing you've ever seen at a wrestling show?
Um, it's got to be one night at the Richmond County Rescue Squad. I seen Carolina Kid jump off top of one of the heavy duty rescue trucks into the ring on top of me.
So he did a move. Was it like a flip or? Oh,
Yep.
wow. How high was that from the ring? Would you say 20, 30, 40 feet?
I'd say about 15, 20 feet above the ring.
Oh, wow. And he landed on top of you?
It was me and Justin Lee.
Oh, wow. Man, is there video of that out somewhere?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe so.
That's one of those things we'll have to look on APW's YouTube page and see if we can find it, right?
I know for a fact it's not on the YouTube page, but
oh, okay.
I'm not sure if somebody has it or not. I have to ask around.
Angels, who I'm going
My boy.
who I'm going to be interviewing pretty soon. He said South Atlantic Pro Wrestling and Florida Championship Wrestling was great. Now, a lot of people might not know. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Angels, or anybody who knows, more in-depth history about wrestling. Is it Florida Championship Wrestling where WWE used to have their training facilities before it became NXT? Isn't that where Seth Rollins and all them were at? Before they became big?
Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, all them boys was down in Florida Championship Wrestling. That was where
That's what I thought.
That's where their developmental territory used to be. That and OVW.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Arthur said Starcade. Oh man, some great ones, bro. He said NWA. He said that was epic. I think he's talking about that jump off of the fire truck.
Oh, yeah.
He's saying that was epic. And Bulldog was agreeing with the Florida South Championship Wrestling being that. Man, come on, people! I know there's more than just 3 people in here. What was the first wrestling television show or match that you ever saw on TV? Man, let us know. We want to talk about it, man. Because this was Arthur. Who was the guys in NWA that you grew up watching that you loved that and I know you'll answer this on the show, but who was some of the guys that you watched that could go in? Hey man, we're boring the champ here. We gotta get him involved. Look at that, he just yawned on hashtag.
Nah, man, I just started my new job and it's been wearing me out.
Oh, okay. I'm just teasing with you, brother. I'm glad you're on. I hope you're having a good time with everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to keep going, man. I'm open book.
There you go. So being an open book, are you married, single?
I'm single.
Girlfriend? Absolutely. You're single at the time? Okay, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. See, look at this, ladies. You could be arm in arm with a champ right now.
No offense, brother, but the champ's trying to do itself right now. I got more of a career to focus on than dating. So
I was trying to put you over with the women, man.
I appreciate it, man, but last thing I want to focus on is a woman right now. I'm trying to get my career in order.
Oh no. Uh-oh. Mad Dog Rashawn. There you go. Now you're pulling some like classic names out right now, Bulldog. I mean, You're telling me your age, brother. You really are. Dusty, Ric Flair, Harley Race. Big Tat, do you know any of these names?
I do.
Have you ever watched live any of these names?
No, but I have.
Oh,
Speaking of the NWA, I want to say, one of the matches I enjoyed watching on the WWE Network has got to be Ric Flair and George South for the NWA title. Was probably my favorite.
oh wow. See there you go. See. Man, I could sit on here for hours and tell you about matches I watched growing up that I love. My favorite tag team growing up came out of Continental Championship Wrestling, and that was the Nightmares. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Wayne, uh, Danny Davis, and Kenny Wayne. Them were my boys growing up. Wildcat Wendell Cooley. I could throw some names out there too. I mean, it is awesome. Some of the guys that wrestled there. I was just watching. I know you know who Jerry the King Lawler is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jerry the King Lawler stopped by through there. Bill Dundee stopped by through there a few times and wrestled at Continental Championship Wrestling. Wildfire Tommy Rich. I don't know if you know that name, but
I do.
he's from Continental Championship Wrestling. And I just found out just a little while ago now, I'm watching this in the 80s. And I went on YouTube last night and I put in Continental Championship Wrestling to watch some of the old shows. They're still running Continental Championship Wrestling today.
Oh,
yes, I was amazed. And one of the guys that they're about to feature, I would love to get on this show, but I mean, he's in the area. I'm not going to throw out names right now because I'm really going to try to get him on this show. He's being featured, at a few shows. One of them is a show that's owned by a good friend of mine. And we just mentioned him earlier, Boomer Payne.
okay.
And he's one of his big men in his wrestling, and he's being promoted for that show. And I was just, my jaw dropped. And that's what I love about a show like this. I can't wait to see somebody like you or any of the others that I've had on this show get promoted in a big time wrestling, show like that. And that just blows my mind. You know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Well, that's the goal, man. I want to work for every promotion I can to where I'm wrestling every weekend.
The Nightmares, yeah, they were great, man. That was my favorite tag team. And the night they turned on each other, when Kenny Wayne hit him with a baseball bat, I didn't watch CCW for like 3 weeks. I was so angry.
I got to say since Angels is watching, I want to say that I think the Icons Unlimited are my favorite tag team.
Oh, there you go, talking with your boys. Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever thought about getting involved in some kind of group or faction? I mean, you're liking tag teams and throwing out the symbols. Why not put your little faction together? It's a lot easier to, keep the gold around your waist if you got boys watching your back for real.
It's been in talks before between me, Angels, and Grizzly. Nothing really set in stone yet. But I mean, faction or not,
of you on your Facebook page with the tag team there. You got the ring together.
Oh yeah, I mean, we work good together. It's just whether it be a faction or not, they know I got their back, like I know that I got their back.
Angels, we're going to talk about that when you come on. The 80s had it going on back then. That was wrestling. That was my, and again, it just depends on when you were watching wrestling, because every generation, every 10 years, that happens. The 60s said the 50s were the greatest. The 70s said the 60s were the greatest. The 80s said the 70s. And that's what's awesome about wrestling. Nowadays we're talking about, the 90s wrestlers, the Stings, the Hulk Hogans, and 10 years from now, we'll be talking about the ones that are wrestling now, the AJ Styles, the Ricochets, things that's what's awesome about wrestling. I love that. You can call it the tattoo connection. That's what I'm talking about. See, hashtag truth people are already giving you a name for your faction. How about that? Awesome. Thank you, Doug. What does Tat think about wrestlers breaking kayfabe? Is it good for the business or no? Uh-oh. Here we go. Kayfabe, good or bad?
personally, I love kayfabe. I love keeping kayfabe alive, but I mean, kayfabe's been dead since a while, man. I want to say probably 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, it's
I'd say between the 80s and the 90s, kayfabe really took a big drop.
yeah. Because I mean, it's with the way social media is, YouTube, all these backstage cameras. I mean, these two guys in the ring just had a big war against each other, but WWE exclusive camera show them in the locker room hugging. I mean, that's not. I mean, you will keep the business alive. That's not the way to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, but I'll give another example. Back when the big guy there for WWE, what's his name? Braun Strowman was doing all his, lifting ambulances and flipping
Yeah.
over cars and stuff like that. In one of the matches against Roman Reigns, he hurt his shoulder. Okay. And WWE the next day on their website showed him and Roman Reigns going out and painting the town together, basically walking around. I think it was like near the Grand Canyon or wherever they were at. And I'm sitting there going, last night these two were beating the snot out of each other. He supposedly broke his arm, and here they are walking, talking, slapping five, and I'm like, no.
Well, that's the thing, man. Because there was a WWE Christmas party picture that got posted. I think last year, or the year before, that had like the Undertaker, The Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, all these guys sitting around a table together eating like a big Christmas meal. And I mean, I get that. Professional wrestling's a family business. I mean, everybody, it's a brotherhood, regardless. But I mean, if you're in the ring the night before and you and so and so,
if you're gonna do a promo picture like that, the bad guys have to be at one table and the good guys have to be at the other. That's the only way I would look at that picture and go, okay, I mean,
it's simple. It's simple to keep kayfabe alive, but so many people let the world of pro wrestling go to their head, and it's like oh, cool. I just got through beating the hell out of this guy in this match. We just had an awesome match, and now we're gonna take pictures together in the locker room and post it all over social media to get 1,500 likes, despite the fact that you're killing business for the next generation of guys that want to do it.
That's it. Chris says, love watching Big Tatt, the tie-dye connection. Look up to him with much respect for his skill.
Oh, well, I love you guys too and your connection. They mean the world to me.
So, I don't want to break, like you said, the fourth wall or kayfabe or anything like that. But how many friends, if you had to sit down, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but if you had to sit down and think about how many friends you actually have in the wrestling business, give me a round number of how many people you actually would consider a friend. Now, I'm talking a friend. You could call them. Their number is in your cell phone right now.
Oh, man. I could probably name about, I mean, I'm cool with all of them, you know what I mean? But as far as like people I can rely on when I need them, I probably got about 5 or 6. And the only reason I say that is because, and this is personally,
now these are the people that you have trouble at home. You pick up the phone, they're going to be there,
right? And that's what that's what I'm getting at. This is a little off topic for wrestling. This ain't Big Tatt dealings or whatever. But
we've talked a little bit off of this. That's why this is called #Truth, brother. We get down to the business. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, in my personal life, I battle real bad depression and anxiety.
Hey, I do too. I take medicines for it, brother. You ain't the only one. I might be in front of a camera and on a microphone, but there's nobody around me. I'm looking at a screen.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I get in front of people, and I can go to wrestling shows and whoop it up and be loud, but I can't do what you wrestlers do. I can't be in the ring with 100, 200 people, all eyes on me. I freeze up, man. I'm like, okay. So much respect for anybody who can do that, man.
But as far as the friends in the wrestling business, man, like I said, I suffer real bad depression and anxiety. There's nights it gets worse than others. Bad thoughts come along. Start thinking about really bad things. Not going to speak on what it is, but I mean, most people probably know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You get to where
you ain't got to tell them. I do. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And when them thoughts come along, you just feel like you're not good enough, or whatever the reason may be, or I'm not going to speak on my personal demons, because that's not something I'm really wanting to put out there like that. But
Right.
there's been times where my personal demons have gotten the best of me, and I've probably had more of my wrestling family there for me than just any of my regular average Joe friends on the street. I mean, that means the world
Right.
to me.
That's
But
what I'm
professional
talking about.
wrestling's my escape from reality because it don't matter how I'm feeling Saturday morning or Friday night. I could be going through the worst depression spell of my life Friday night, but I know when Saturday hits, I get to the show, set the ring up, put the chairs up. It's still bothering me. I'm still thinking about it or whatever.
Your
But
mind, but your mind's on other things when you're in there
right,
around the wrestling people, and that's the same thing that, and again, we're breaking kayfabe, the wall or whatever, but that's the same thing that with my show here. My family knows, man. I'm normal me outside of this microphone and everything, and it's not really much different. I am me on
right.
here, but not everything you're going to see on the mic is off the mic. I mean, everybody knows that.
Oh yeah,
But an hour before the show, my family supports me so much. They know. My wife will tell everybody, man, don't go to that room because he's setting up his wall. He's
yeah,
getting. We're clearing out. My family's in there playing cards right now because they know they can't come in this room. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So and that's awesome when you have family members and friends and people like that back you up, especially in a business that you want to go to.
Oh yeah,
I didn't realize how many friends I had until just recently, man. I've got people blowing my Facebook up. Hey, man, can I help you with this? Do you need this? And it's awesome. But the reason I asked that question is for that reason. And you broke down that wall is, how many people do you really consider your friend? How many people will actually be there?
oh yeah,
And outside of my family, I have maybe 3 or 4. I call every one of the wrestling people that I talk to friends,
oh
but
yeah.
I have 3 or 4 people in the wrestling business now. Outside of the wrestling business, I have a few more, but inside the wrestling business, I have 3 or 4 people that I know if I called them, they'd lend me an ear for a little while or they'd give
Oh
me
yeah,
sound advice. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah.
And
And
every
that's the
every
thing.
wrestler needs that, man.
And that's the thing, man. You got to. I've encountered a lot of people, outside of wrestling, inside of wrestling, who you think, that they're so and so, they're so good to you, they're going to be this friend or whatever. But the first chance they get to turn on you, they take it. That's why I'm real picky on who I associate with and waste any more of my
Wrestling,
time on.
wrestling, wrestling is all about egos, brother, and I'm learning that the hard way. I've been doing this show for a little over a year. I've really gotten into independent wrestling for about a year and a half, and I'm finding out egos galore, brother, and it kind of hurts me in a way because I'm on this big stick of everybody. Let's help each other get up there, man. Let's get everybody out there who doesn't know wrestling, who you know is was a fan 20 years ago but hates what they saw. Let's get them back to wrestling, man, because wrestling is
Yes,
fun. And I'm
sir.
reading a book right now that was wrote in the 1920s about wrestling, and wrestling's no different now than it was in the 1920s, dude. I'm reading all this stuff, and this guy was talking about the wrestling business in the 1920s. There's no difference. So think about that.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason why all these wrestling fans should be running away from wrestling. But let's get back to some of these questions, man. Angel Angels wants to know, would you rather work in the indies or WWE? Because so far wrestlers are leaving the top companies this day. What's your opinion on that?
Honestly, man, with the way big companies are going now, I'd rather, to be honest, I'd rather just keep my shoot job and work on the indies, just where I'm wrestling every weekend, different promotions around the state, around the country, if I could, just on weekends, man.
Now,
That'd be.
now the money doesn't entice you, because I mean, if Vince McMahon came up to you and said, "Hey, man, I mean, I don't know what you're making a year. I don't want to know. That's too personal." But if Vince McMahon came up to you and said, "Hey, man, I can guarantee you 6 figures. I might not use you. You might sit in the back for 6 months out of a year, but I'll pay you $100,000 to do it." Would that change your mind, or
I mean, most people it probably would. Like I said earlier in the show, man, I'm a real humble guy. Um, I'm not really, like I said, I have a shoot job. You know what I mean? It keeps my bills paid. It keeps money in my wallet, food in the house, you know. So, I mean, yeah, the six figures would sound good to people, but I mean, I'm in this for the fans, you know what I mean? And this ain't me trying to sound like that good guy, you know, trying to
Right.
sound like I'm
You
sucking
you
up,
you
you
really
know.
want you really enjoy performing.
That's exactly right. You know, I do this every weekend I can, you know, but I don't do it for me. Yeah, I
Right.
love watching TV, but I remember being a kid sitting in that chair ringside watching these guys, looking up to these guys. And if I can at least make one kid smile or one kid cheer for me, then I know I did my job that night. You know, I do this for
Right.
them. This isn't
No
something I'm
doubt.
doing for me. It's not
No
about
doubt.
money. It's not about fame. It ain't about popularity. I do this because I know there was one day I was that same kid sitting out there in that crowd wanting to do this, wanting to know, you know, I can do that one day. I want to be the hope for other kids wanting to get into professional wrestling because if anybody was to hear the full backstory of my life, dude, I would blow some people's minds. So just my advice would be, you know, being a pro wrestler, being out here
Stay
for all these
humble. Stay
kids,
humble
all
first of all.
yes, stay humble and despite what anybody tells you, do not give up on what you want to do. Because I've had so many people tell me to quit, so many people tell me to give up, and you know, I almost have a few times. I've almost hung my boots up a few times, but at the same time, I feel like I'm letting everybody down that cheers for me, everybody down that looks up to me by
That's
doing
what I
that.
was about to say. I was gonna say, man, if you got that one fan, that one, 10-year-old kid that shows up at every show and comes to your merch table and stands there, and a lot of these wrestlers, well, if I don't get my way, I'm just gonna quit. You're not hurting yourself, really. You're hurting the fans that have enjoyed watching you and come
Oh yeah.
following you. You know what I'm
and that's
saying?
not and that's not
And
me because you know like I said there was times when I was a kid looking up to these guys and I can just see it in some of these kids eyes when I come through the curtain or just when my music hits, you know, they're waiting on me to come out, they're waiting to shake my hand, they're waiting to watch me get in there and do
they're
what I
waiting to
do.
scream, jump up out of their seats,
Yeah.
do a little
and
dance. Come on, we're at a wrestling show, brother.
and that's all it's about to me, you know, as long as I'm keeping the fans entertained, I don't care if I make money at the show or not because I have a job Monday morning to go back to, you know what I mean?
Mark
So it's
McDaniel wants to know, when are you going to give Andy Aries that title match? I will also be having Andy Aries pretty soon on the show. He's pulling out the gold. Look at that. So when you giving Andy Aries a shot, man?
And the area talk to Cruz Biddle. Cruz Biddle gives us a date. We'll make it happen. I'm ready to dance with the devil as long as you are.
You heard it right here on hashtag Truth,
I'm telling
brother.
you, man, I will not turn down a match. I will not turn down a title shot. If somebody wants a match, let me know. If a promoter will book it, we'll run it.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to come back to you, Angels. I promise. Oops. When you going to give the young Tiger? Boy, everybody wants a piece of that North American heavyweight. I'm beginning to think that North American heavyweight championship is better than a WWE title, brother. I'm having wrestlers jump on you left and right, challenging
All right.
you.
So if this is the case, all these title shots being requested, find a promoter. I'll run a gauntlet. I'll start the match. I'll run. I mean,
You heard it right
if
there,
that's what
Mark
it takes.
McDaniel, man. Oh my God, everybody. You heard it. Matthew Miller, everybody who's asking, who else was asking? Sammy, everybody, man. He'll run a gauntlet, man. A gauntlet match. I would, man, you get that booked, call me. I'll be front row, brother.
I'll make sure to get you a ticket put up.
Oh, there you go, man. Make it 3. I got a family of 3, brother. All of them love wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Mark McDaniel said, let's get it. I
I
love it, guys. I
find a
love it.
promoter, find somebody to book it. No, I mean I can't do every title shot every weekend. You know, I could, but I mean, why not give everybody a title shot at the same time?
When are we going to be seeing Big Tatt versus CJ Evans? Do you think that would be one of your best matches? And who do you think would win? Now, that's turning the tables because you've been saying during this whole thing that you wanted to go back and tag team with him again to show him that you could be his tag team brother. And Angels is saying, when are we going to see you two fight? And who do you think is going to win?
So the whole tag team thing with me and CJ Evans was, you know, that was a big reason why I went back to singles wrestling because you know it's the fact that you know he didn't want to tag out. He wanted to be the human highlight reel. He wanted to take the spotlight in the match.
He
Ended up
wanted to
costing
be
us.
it, or he is the human highlight reel. Because if you
Self,
ask him, he is the human highlight reel.
tomato, tomato. But um, he cost us the match that night. And that's a big reason why I went back to singles wrestling. Would I team with CJ Evans again if it was to get booked? Sure. I have no problem with CJ. If I ever had a team with him again, I'm sure we can do it with no issues. But as far as Big Tat and CJ Evans goes, Angels, I think it's in the works. I'm not sure yet, so don't get me lying and get any hopes up. I'm not going to be that
You already
guy who's going to
had up.
say what.
You already had my hopes up. You said in the works, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Oh man, come on.
But as far as who would win, I'm not going to be that guy who's I'm going to stomp CJ down, blah blah blah. CJ's a good dude. I've worked side by side with CJ since he started. I know what the kid's capable of. I know what he can do. Do I think it'll be an even match, pound for pound? No. I'm twice CJ's size, but skill wise, yeah, I think it'd be pretty fair and even.
Would it be
We're
fair to
both.
say that you're more ground and pound and CJ is more the high flyer?
Yeah, that's a definite. You won't see me get on the ropes maybe once or twice probably every year or two.
Okay, well, that my next question after we get through some of these comments and questions is going to be, what is your favorite top rope maneuver? Angel says, who did you know that he was the first North American champ?
I do, and I love you, brother. I promise I do, but you let CJ take it from you, and I had to get it back. So
The young Tiger says, Justin Lee, book it. Let's run a gauntlet match. Big Tat versus John Matthews, CJ Evans, Andy Aries, Angels, and whoever else wants to join in. Boy, you might have opened up a can of worms, Big Tat. Let me tell you, look at that.
That sounds like a night full of ibuprofen there.
Bulldog said, I'd pay any amount of money to watch you wrestle, man. That is a compliment for sure, man. You got to love
I appreciate it, brother. I really do.
All right, guys. Last call for questions, and then we're going to let the champion get some rest and get ready for tomorrow night. While they're thinking of their last questions, man, tell everybody what's going on tomorrow night.
So APW is running at a Richmond County Rescue Squad in Rockingham, North Carolina, 1004 Richmond Road or Rockingham Road. I don't know the lineup for the show yet. With me being out due to injuries, I just told them, I was going to kind of show up and help out any way I could. But I mean, APW never disappoints. We never put on a bad show. It's always action packed, full of surprises. I mean, you never know. Big Tat might just show up in gear tomorrow night. Doctor says no. Big Tat might just say yes. Show up and see.
There you go. Well, we have no more questions for you, brother. It was great for you to come out last minute, man. I really appreciate it. I had another cancellation, but that's okay because we have wrestlers that really do want to come on hashtag truth and get that stuff out there. But seriously, in all seriousness, man, I understand life comes first. Your jobs come first. So if you ever have to cancel on hashtag truth, I won't be upset unless you don't reschedule with me and come on. It's always a big thing for me, man. I've had some guys that have had to reschedule 2-3 times. That's okay as long as you come on, man. That's just it. Be professional. Come on, make a name for yourself. And Big Tat,
Yes, sir.
American APW champion. Thank you very much for coming on, man. And everybody out there, have a good night.
All right. Thank you, brother.